Alright, we got Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom review. The review is out. We get to see how Amber performed.
But at long last, we finally have James Wan's Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Arthur Curry may have taken his place as King of Atlantis, but the lingering threat of Black Manta means that he must team up with estranged brother Orm to protect the Seven Seas. Sounds like a great setup for another hilarious Thor Ragnarok-esque sibling team-up, right? Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not without a lot of caveats.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom review. See you later, DCEU.
Sometimes, when a TV pilot doesn't do its job of grabbing your attention, you'll hear that you need to watch a few episodes before things get good. The first 30 to 45 minutes of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom are the cinematic equivalent of this phenomenon. Movies sometimes take a little while to get going, sure, but there's a bit more than story issues going on here. The first Aquaman, and much of
I never watched either of them.
Because while it's not the best movie, Jason Momoa is having the time of his life, so the audience is having fun too.
Good job, little brother. High five.
Let me tell you, it sure doesn't feel like Momoa is having the time of his life in the first act.
Yeah, he looks miserable.
Things get fun for a stretch. Orm and Arthur had the exact begrudging brothers dynamic you'd expect, which yields quite a few funny moments thanks to Wilson and Momoa's on-screen rapport. They're part here, as was Wan's intent from the beginning. None of this comes at the expense of Amber Heard's Mara, though. She has a smaller role to play, because Lost Kingdom is more of a buddy comedy than a rom-com, but she's still a key player in the story alongside Nicole Kidman's Atlana.
Oh, so they put her all the scenes in there.
At the risk of beating the dead seahorse of the Lost Kingdom's early struggles, Atlana's story is done in a way that left me questioning whether or not I was remembering the end of Aquaman, and she simply had chosen the sea over her father, Thomas. She didn't. They're still very much in love. But Atlana and Tom's story is one of several casualties of what I can only assume is late in the game story adjustments, despite the Lost Kingdom's focus on family. Arthur and Mara, surprisingly, do not fall into the same trap, which only goes to highlight that a few establishing shots go a long way towards ensuring your audience understands a relationship while still allowing both characters to act independently without confusion. Of course, this is an Aquaman film. If you start digging in too deep or asking too many questions, it's all gonna unravel.
You saw it?
I'm gonna kill Aquaman and destroy him.
What's up, 9?
The same can be said for Black Manta's story, but Abdul Mateen 2 does a solid job with the material he's given, and like the rest of the Lost Kingdom, it's decent enough if you just sit back and enjoy the ride. The first
Amber Heard saved Jason Momoa.
Because it's fun and silly, and that's a tone that the Lost Kingdom mostly nails just as well. The sequel also retains its predecessor.
I bet you thirsted over the bed pooper.
There's a level of
That's funny.
Oceanscapes and worlds below the surface that kept me engaged with Atlantis and its surroundings throughout the film. But the visual beauty mostly begins and ends with the landscapes and underwater civilizations. The Lost Kingdom was screened for critics and so viewing experiences may vary.
What are you talking about?
Many of the antagonist hordes, Black Manta excluded, are so unattractively rendered that
Just messing with you, man. Calm down.
Security guard next to me laugh. They look bad, y'all.
Amber, the real hero in this movie?
The scenery around them is so bright and crisp, but it's definitely a distraction. The first fight scene falls into the ugly category as well, but it's unclear if it's because it was
Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
Despite a year-long delay, or if it just looked the way it did because it was in 3D. Or maybe both, frankly. It's to Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom's credit that it has no interest in saying farewell to its own shared universe. A continuity that began with Man of Steel in 2013 and also closed with this movie in 2023. In fact, it mostly just farts at the DCEU on its way out the door. Say what you will about what this now concluded chapter in the DC cinematic history deserves or doesn't. Arthur Curry going out on his own terms with a complete disinterest in what it means for the franchise is both incredibly on brand and objectively.
Come on, I'm not feeling good. I don't have enough energy to deal with that.
Did you bring water?
What's the verdict?
No, sorry. I drank it all the way here.
What?
Bro, it's hot up there.
When Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is being an Aquaman story and leaning into the silliness and family aspects of it all, it's fun. The enjoyable bits are just sandwiched between some ugly effects and a weird first act cobbled together from a very different movie. The relationship between Orm and Arthur and the rapport between Jason Momoa and Patrick Wilson helps buoy the story and is unquestioningly the best part. It's a shame that the dawn of James Gunn's DC cinematic universe means that we'll probably never see them again.
It was okay.
To end the bloodline.
It was just okay.
For more Aquaman, check out Aquaman and the Last Kingdom's official trailer. And for everything else, stick with
Well,
LG.
they didn't really show too much.
Kingdoms will follow.
They didn't really say too much or show too much. They just said that it was okay. So I guess it was just okay. I feel like that's most movies today. Most movies today are just okay. Crazy.